We stick with guests, and we're going to do that for much of the rest of the morning. Trey Lamar is going to join us at 8 o'clock. Chapel Hart going to be with us at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. But right now, Haley Fisackerly jumps on with us. He is president and CEO of Entergy Mississippi. Mr. Fisackerly, good morning to you. I'm assuming that sleep has been a little hard to come by for the last 48 to 72 hours. I know a lot on your plate and on the plate of the entire team at Entergy Mississippi.
Good morning, Richard. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to talk to our customers. And yes, our people have been working hard around the clock to restore service after these storms, and we appreciate their hard work.
You know, I hesitate to say this because it feels like it could be unsympathetic. It could have been a lot worse this weekend. But I feel like when you say it could have been worse, you're minimizing the impact for those customers that you have, for those Mississippians who had their lives devastated. And the crazy thing about the storms that we had on Friday and throughout the day on Saturday, they were spread all over the state of Mississippi. There were lots of different communities, lots of different pockets of the state that were affected by the severe thunderstorms, the tornadoes, and even a small earthquake that showed on the Richter scale.
Richard, you're so right. What makes this state so great are our rural communities. They're the heart of this state. I know, and you're right. We were fortunate. The heavy population areas were done. In fact, I had some customers, some people say to me over the weekend, "Oh, I bet you're okay. It's not nearly the number of outages." I said, "Well, the damage is horrible, and we probably saw from a damage standpoint, assets probably one of the worst storms we've seen in some time." And I can share some of those facts, but we did have at a peak only around 9,000 customers, and so when you look at our 460,000 customers, that's not bad, but over that day, two different systems, as you know, that came through, it impacted about 24,000 customers, but it devastated us in Grenada, Walthall, and Pike counties there, as well as other communities, but they were our hardest hit areas.
Yeah, and I feel like in terms of loss of life, Walthall and some injuries that were related as well, that may have been the most significantly hit area, but you mentioned parts of Grenada County, some of the images that we've seen out of there, and Pike County as well. So kind of walk us through in terms of the footprint that Entergy has and some of the effect that your customers are dealing with.
Well, keep in mind, Entergy serves basically the western part of the state. Yes, we have co-ops and communities wrapped in there, but our service area pretty much follows I-55 from Memphis all the way down to Louisiana, where we joined up with our sister companies there. 45 counties. So we did have outages from top to bottom. So we were dealing with a scattered approach, which spreads out your resources and things of that nature. But the worst, Elliott community in Grenada County outside of Grenada was hit really hard with the morning storm. We had tremendous damage impacting not only distribution facilities, hundreds of poles down, but also it hit a major transmission line that feeds a substation into that area. And that was probably, from an asset standpoint, one of our areas. Just to give you an idea, we had well over 200 utility poles down, over 30 transformers, 190 poles, cross arms, 18 to 20 miles of line down. But the worst part was we also had a lot of transmission structures. These are the large structures that feed into the substations that power a grid. And we have over 34 structures down from these tornadoes. And so I haven't, in my 17 years in this position, 30 years with the company, I don't recall that many transmission structures down at one time. So tornadoes just rode circuits and down there. And some of these communities, you may have a pole down or here. We had to rebuild entire circuits. Yet first, though, the amount of debris everywhere that had to be cleared. So it really was a tough restoration effort for our workers.
And you're using the past tense there. I mean, are you largely back online just 72 hours out?
So we have most customers back on. There are some that will be going until tonight that can receive power. The sad part is, Richard, some will not be able to take power back, cause a total loss. But we're down. We had a big segment come back in early this morning around 12:30 in that Elliott area. So we're down to just under 200. Most of those will be, everybody that can take power will be back on tonight. The transmission work will continue. So the grid works and flow power into different ways. So we have some transmission circuits that are still being rebuilt and will be over the next few days. And so that work will continue.
So when Entergy is in the immediate aftermath of a storm, there are more ways than one to fix the issue. There may be a master fix that has to happen, but do you take the approach of almost duct tape and baling wire initially? Like, we're going to do what we've got to do to just get power back to houses and businesses and kind of patchwork it until we can do the fix the proper way?
Well, Richard, technology has brought us a long way, and we're in the midst of a major reliability reinvestment program, and we're deploying new devices and stuff. We have self-healing networks, devices that can do that. So usually after a storm comes through, yes, we have to do assessments. Make sure a lot of times a line could be out just because a tree is leaning on a line. It just needs to be clear, and a fuse needs to be closed back in. And when that can happen, our DOC, Distribution Operations Center, can work to reroute power into some areas if we can safely do so. But assessments have to happen. When we go to rebuild, yeah, we may do some minor fixes to come back and do a major fix later. But what we're really like in this situation, there were so many lines and line segments. We're coming back in with new standards, stronger poles, shorter spans, and making that system better. And so it doesn't cost us any time. What we've learned to do is storms have changed. The history, the data we have is telling us we have to build stronger. The old standards do not work anymore. So we are putting inventory in place to give us the type of materials we need to take advantage of these situations to improve the system going forward. So we do all of that. And so it's more than that. We do our best to build it back stronger.
Forgive me if this is an ignorant question. I think about new construction. A new neighborhood is built from the ground up, and all of the power lines are underground, right? You've got the box transformers, and everything is underground. Obviously, that's not historically how it's been done. It's been with above-ground power lines. So at the local level, we're seeing communities try to go toward that direction. But it's really, really expensive to take existing above ground lines and get them underground, and to do that for an entire neighborhood or an entire city. What about it at your level when we're talking about major transmission lines? Moving forward, do you go toward an underground system, or is that just not financially even something that you can look at?
Transmission lines, these are high voltage lines. And so, no, that is you would not look at undergrounding that. It would be really costly, but also creates some operational challenges as well when you're dealing with the high voltage lines here. Our lowest voltage line, transmission line, is a 115,000 kV kilovolt line. The service, to put that in perspective, and they go up all the way to 500 kV lines that move the volt electric to the substations and on down from there. The distribution circuits that we serve our customers are around 13,800 volt. So to give you a perspective on that, you're right. We're seeing new developers today of neighborhoods going that extra expense to put things underground. The way the industry is regulated, we set standards around rates, how rates are set. So the standard is around above ground construction. And then from there, there's a cost differential, and developers are doing that, or homeowners will do that. We are in the midst of a major study taking a look at that. And what you're going to see us doing forward is a hybrid approach, where it may make sense to take certain line segments and put them underground. But you're right. In old neighborhoods, like I used to live in the Fondren area of Jackson, old historic neighborhoods, a lot of rear lot lines, people will come in and trees and stuff, and it's just too costly to take something like there. There may be a segment or two where you may try to avoid some other hazards or risks. You may do that, but going forward, we are looking at more of that. We're seeing more developers doing that, and so that does help it. But the transmission system does have those exposures, but the materials we're using and the technology we're using is making it more robust and reliable.
Hey, quickly, we've only got a minute until the break here. We know if a hurricane hits the Gulf, you almost see an immediate spike of gas prices at the pump. Mm-hmm. Do storms that come through our state affect rates for customers?
Well, the way we work the Mississippi Public Service Commission, within our rates, we have a storm rider that is always
Okay.
collecting funds, and we use that. Only in a rare occasion have we ever had to go out there, and that would be like Katrina. And so we try to work with the commission to keep an adequate fund there that is funded through a small portion of the rates that go to customers there.
Haley Fisackerly, President and CEO, Entergy, Mississippi. I know it's been a busy few days for you. Always appreciate your time and you speaking to the folks in Mississippi.
Thank you, Rich. Appreciate the opportunity to talk to our customers. Stay safe.
Absolutely. We'll talk again soon. Mornings with Richard Cross. SuperTalk Mississippi. We're back with you right after this.